Think things were crazy over illegal immigration this summer? You ain't seen nothing yet. Welcome, everyone. I'm Stuart Varney in for Neil Cavuto. This is your world. And on this Labor Day, a nation laboring over an immigration fight that may get hotter. That's because the president is considering an executive order which may grant amnesty to millions of the illegals already here. GOP strategist Lisa Booth says this would just make the situation worse, but Democrat strategist Janice Fuentes thinks it's the right move. Janine, to you first. Janice, why executive action? Why doesn't the president negotiate with Congress like other presidents do on other issues?
Well, Mr. Barney, you know that he has been telling, this should not be a surprise. He has been telling Congress and everyone in the world who is willing to listen and pay attention since before the State of the Union in 2014 that if Congress did not move forward, he would take every step within the bounds of possibility.
But why didn't he negotiate with Congress? Why didn't he negotiate with Congress to get a deal?
He told Congress to get it done. Did comprehensive immigration reform pass Congress? No, it didn't. So the president is left with the only choices he has, which is basically executive action, which is not to be confused as law. He's not legislating with his pen.
Okay, Lisa, what do you say?
Great. Well, actually, I think Janice is absolutely wrong, and the House has taken action. Actually, the House is the only body of Congress who actually has passed an emergency funding bill for this current immigration crisis. But ruling by executive action is not the right approach here. Instead of golfing, President Obama should be working with Congress to find a solution. You know, we're in this crisis because of President Obama's failed policies. If you look at his 2012 executive order, he essentially sent a message to Central American families that if they send their kids here, they can stay. And now we're facing a crisis at the border.
Where do we go from here, Lisa? You first.
Right. Well, what I think that needs to happen is President Obama needs to work Congress to do what the American people want them to do, and that is to secure our borders and to safely reunite these children with their families, and that's the right approach.
Okay. Janice, where do we go from here? You first.
Well, I think that on a day like Labor Day, I think it's very cynical that we choose to deny hope to millions of workers whose work we do welcome, but whose humanity we deny. So I think on a day like today, what would be good would be to have an honest discussion and an acceptance that the president is doing the right thing, because doing nothing is the wrong thing.
I stood in line. I went through I'm an immigrant, went through all the checks, paid all the fees, stood in line, got all the visas, I did all the paperwork. Why should somebody else jump that line by executive order? Janice.
Nobody should jump that line by executive order. What we're talking about here is to make our country safer. Let's take DACA, for example.
But they would jump the line.
Okay, no, we're not.
Executive action jumps the line.
Okay, but it's not about jumping the line.
That's what it is.
Let me ask you a question. Do we or do we not want to know who this 11 million people or a fraction of the 11 million people are? Do we
I don't mean to take off on you, Janice, but look, I am an immigrant. And it did take me a long time to become a legitimate immigrant to this great country. I did not jump the line. And I want to know why you want others to jump the line.
No. As I said, thank you for allowing me to explain myself. As I said earlier, I do not want anyone jumping the line. But in the absence of Congress not taking the legislative action they need to take to pass immigration reform and address the existence of 11 million undocumented people in this country, we must do what's right by business. Excuse me, let me finish. We must do what's right by agricultural workers. We must do what's right for our law enforcement. We must do what's right for our country. And we must know who those people are. Okay. Just keeping the thing in silence and not knowing who they are, where they live.
Lisa, last word to you.
No, Janice, you know that's not the case. The reason we're facing this current immigration crisis, is because of President Obama's failed policies and his undermining of the rule of law and our nation's immigration policies. And look, we are a nation of immigrants, but we're also a nation of laws.
Lisa Booth, Janice Fuentes, ladies, thanks very much indeed for joining us. We appreciate it on this Labor Day. Thank you.